I don't know what you ate today.
That's my voice. It is just like that.
Oh, my brother has told you good news.
Not really. Nothing at all. Nothing. This is just my usual voice every time, even if at what time, this is how I sound.
Yes, Awania, Maurice, then Amatio, Emmanuel, the Maga, the Adomati Michael. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening to you all.
Good evening to you too, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
Yes. I've had who? Maurice has responded to me. The others have not responded. I'm checking whether they are there.
All blessed, sir.
Okay. Matua Job Richard is my name. You are the truly assistant resident city commissioner, Rua City. I am 42 years of age, an abandoned child who rose to glory, a person from northern Uganda, Western Nile sub-region, Greater Arua, Maracha district, Kijomoro sub-county, Okokoro town council, Lamila ward, Lamila Nyo, and then the village is called, or clan is called Ambala, and the great-grandfather was called Luania. Luania produced India, India produced Vala, and then Vala produced my parent. It is a very great pleasure to talk to you younger men and women today. I am really going to be very candid and very clear on certain things I want to tell you. But before I would say that, I want to very sincerely appreciate you for inviting me. And I want to tell you that your invitation of myself is a spiritual guidance. It is the spirit that has sent you to invite me. For I am John the Baptist, sent to inform my people about the gospel of society transformation. So my coming here is a spiritual selection. And I want to tell you without fear of contradiction that before I was sent for this job, I had a much better thing I was doing. I was earning a salary of 10 million per month as the CEO of Organization for Transparency Advocacy Uganda. I came for a job which is almost 5 times less than the money I was earning, though they have increased for us the money. But I can tell you, I came just for the good of my people. That's why when you invite me, I take it personal. I take it as a spiritual guidance. Now, fast forward. You have told me to talk to you about socio-economic transformation. My dear brothers and sisters, the younger men and women, you are really truly blessed to hear this concept deeper. I want to tell you, society changes. Society undergoes metamorphosis. The metamorphosis or metamorphic stages of society are not like the one of these insects, the butterflies, the houseflies, the bees, the cockroaches, etc. No. Society grows from a much primitive state to a much advanced stage. So every society undergoes that change or transformation or metamorphosis. If you want to, for reference purpose, for those of you who are interested in a deeper study, you can go and study political economy and particularly the Greek society. In modern philosopher, modern theory, they originated from Greece. The Greek society. The Greek society primitively was made up of 2 distinct units: the oikos, the households called oikos, and then the polities. Greece was some kind of like a federal establishment with Athens and the other states. So in those states, there were two categories of people: the oikos, these are the households, and then the polities, the government, some kind of government that was in charge of it. So for those of you who are interested in this, you can go and study how transformation of how society was organized in the Greek time, the Greek society. Now, but I don't want to go into that absurdity or unnecessary academic references, which sometimes become too boring, especially to our younger people of today, the dot-com generation. Ladies and gentlemen, I have said that society does undergo changes. I now want to bring it down. In the present day status, what do we mean when we say society really undergoes changes? This is what you should know. There are three stages. There are three metamorphic stages of society transformation. The life cycle of society, from a primitive to a much advanced state. The first stage in that life cycle, the first phase is that of being subsistence or peasant farmer. A household which is basically growing crops for the purpose of consumption of the members of the household. There is no plan whatsoever to sell what is being produced. It is only during emergencies like health issues that is when this lady will get some 4 cups of beans to go and sell to buy medicine. It is when there are those extreme demands, that's when such a household can do such thing. Otherwise, that household does not plant beans for the purpose of getting money. That kind of lifestyle is what we call subsistence economy, peasantry. It is a primitive state of society. That is where the majority of the Western Nile and the Northern Uganda households are still there. Uganda Bureau of Statistics in the 24 census reports that 54% of the households in Western Nile are still in that state, in that life, in that stage, in that phase of the life cycle of society. Jesus of Nazareth and Muhammad of Mecca, peace be upon him. 54%, more than 50% of the houses, of the homes in Western Nile, UBOS reported that they are still in a peasant subsistence economy, peasant lifestyle. The national average is 33%. It means that we are worse even when you take the average in Uganda. Now, the second stage in the transformation of society is what we call the modern state. Modernity is about good life. Now, a peasant society, they are drinking water from the shallow wells. This is the kind of thing. Now, when that society improves to a level where now the water they are drinking is from piped water, that is where they have electricity, internet, schools, hospitals. Now, that modernity is about good life. We are using DMC buses to go to Kampala, which take for me on average, I'm doing some studies I'm doing bachelor's in public administration and management in Islamic University in Uganda, Kampala campus, which I'm about to complete. Now, I usually use this, the premium of Nile Star. We set off here 10 p.m. and we reach in Kampala 8 a.m., 7 a.m. That is still a primitive aspect. Now you see here, we are using DMC buses to go to Kampala. If Uganda develops to get a high-speed train, like from Beijing to Shanghai, China, an hour train for that distance, now that kind of transition, can that person mute? That kind of transition is what we call transformation. Can that person mute, please? so that other members can hear well. That kind of transformation. Now, if we go from using DMC buses to using high-speed trains from Arua to Kampala, 30 minutes you are there. Now that is a good life. That is modernization. So modernity is about good life. Sleeping in good houses. If we move away from grass-thatched houses to iron-roofed houses with air conditioners in it, that is a modernization. If we move away from riding bicycles to having V8 vehicles, hybrid vehicles, that is modernization. Now, modernization from peasant society to a modern society, that is the second stage or phase in the life cycle of transformation of society. The final stage in transformation of society is a prosperous society. That's the last stage in the life cycle of a society. A prosperous society is the one that has attained the good life and is now able to sustain, maintain that goodness, that state of goodness. That is the state where Europe, the United States of America are. That is the last stage, metamorphic stage in the transformation of society. Madam Moderator, are you there?
Yeah, I am here.
Second, now I have now explained to you very well what society transformation means. You know, when you just talk the thing as a socioeconomic transformation, some people think it is the NRM manifesto. Some people fail to understand it totally. That's why today I have really gone deeper into explaining for you what society transformation is about. Telling you the three stages of the life cycle of society changes from peasant to modern society to prosperous society. Now, in the case of Uganda, government wants Uganda to become modern and prosperous by 2040. Younger men and women, please know this. The government of Uganda wants Uganda to become modern and prosperous by 2040. These are 15 years to go. I am 42 years plus 15. It will find Matua Job Richard. You are truly 57 years old. I will not be too old by that time. Ask yourself, given your ages, add the 15 on your ages. It will tell you when you will be, at what age you will be. Now, this is what we call Vision 2040. Uganda has seen that it wants to transform Ugandan society from a peasant to modern and prosperous economy by 2040. Currently, Uganda's economy is rated with gross domestic product, the total value of goods and services produced within the boundary of Uganda in 12 years. That is the GDP. The total money value of all the goods and the services produced within the boundary of Uganda in 1 year. Uganda's GDP as of now is 61.3 billion US dollars. Now, Uganda want this GDP, gross domestic product, to be transformed to 500 billion US dollars by 2040. Now, imagine yourself, the younger person today. You are now going to be in that Uganda, that modern and prosperous Uganda in 2040. You must understand what modernity is about, what prosperity is about, and strive and struggle to do things that will make you worth living in that Uganda. Otherwise, you may be excluded from that Uganda. I have started seeing it here in Ruo City. There are people who have sold off all of their land and they have relocated to Congo. They are now here in the city called Arua from Congo. Those who have already left this good life in the city, they have retreated to another primitive life of peasantry. Jesus of Nazareth, Muhammad of Mecca, peace be upon him. Now, accordingly, in my lecture of today, I want to challenge you, the younger people, Now Uganda want to become modern and prosperous by 2040. To have a GDP of 500 billion, what would be your contribution as an individual and as the younger people? GDP is a gross domestic product. I said it is the total value in terms of money of all the goods and the services produced within the boundary of Uganda in 1 year. So therefore, accordingly, my lecture in this time and your question should be in that direction. And I will be glad to answer all of them. Even if it takes me up to midnight, I will be here. Because I prepared myself for the day. Madam Moderator, are you there?
Yes, sir, I am here.
Now the questions can start. Now that I have given you the background.
All right, thank you so much, our guest tonight. Commissioner, everyone has heard you so loud and clear, and I love the energy already, and I believe all of us are going to learn something from you. So direct to the question, according to your explanation, I have understood that learning to know something about socio-economic transformation is so cruel. So, Mr. Commissioner, why do you think socio-economic transformation is so cruel for the future of West Nile region's youth? And what are the potential consequences if they don't take it seriously?
Good question. Why is socioeconomic transformation very crucial for the people of Western Nile, and what are the consequences if they don't take it seriously? I want to begin with the last part of the question. The consequence of us not taking this thing seriously is that we will become refugees in our own land. What a bitter consequence. I can tell you, younger people, as I'm speaking now, if you go to Pajuru, the majority of the people with the good houses there are either Congolese or Sudanese. Yesterday, but one, I went to bury somebody in Oluko here, just after Mvara, that after those residents of the Atolos there, the reverends there. I found nice houses that have been constructed and that have been completed. When I asked who are the owners of these houses, they were belonging to the Sudanese. So, my sister, the consequence is that if we don't do something to undergo transformation, we will sell off our land, become refugees on our own land, or be economically displaced like the Baganda were displaced. When Kampala became a city, Kampala was only made up of Rubaga, Makindye, Nakawa, and Kawempe. The larger part of these peripheral divisions were rural. Ndeba and Bosegas were forest. Najera Tinda was a forest. Now, the Baganda did not anticipate for once that a bigger part of Buganda land was going to be taken by the city. So they kept selling the land. By the time the Baganda woke up, land was gone. When you don't have land, you become a destitute, a nobody without address, a useless person who can therefore do anything because has nothing to lose. Now, let me return to why then socioeconomic transformation is necessary for Western Nile. From the UBOS statistics, 77% of the population in Western Nile aged 10 years and above. I repeat, 77% of the population of Western Nile aged 10 years and above has not completed primary level. What does it mean? It means those individuals who are now the majority cannot be employed anywhere in the formal sector where papers are required. They don't have papers. They are illiterate. How do you have the majority of your population being illiterate in 21st century? Really? When we have schools around, what could be stopping our people from educating children, younger men and women? Help me to find out. I am almost breaking down. Now, the consequence is that if we don't embrace the socioeconomic activities, then we will become the tail of Uganda. Bushenyi has moved, is almost in the first world. Then we will become the least in the country. We will be number last. just like UBOS is reporting. We are second worst sub-region in northern Uganda, in Uganda in terms of poverty, next to Karamoja. We are second worst sub-region in Uganda in terms of education, next to Karamoja. So we will be number last. Amangadi sobi sa chiri sa driasi. Is that good to say to talk about? So therefore, socio-economic transformation, which I want to now bring to the next phase to answer this question. You can see the word is there too: social transformation, economic transformation. I want to tell you that social transformation occurs through education of the population or of members of society. Take it to homes. One home where the worst person there stopped in P4, no, senior 4. And others have degrees, masters, and what have you. Look at the way people there behave, the way they think, their appreciation of values, their character. Then they go to another home where the best person stopped in P7. Look at the way they behave, their lifestyles today, compare the two. You will make a self-conclusion that education indeed is for transformation, mindset transformation. In fact, the best mobilization of the community for mindset change should be to mobilize all the community members to get educated, because education is a major tool for complete mindset transformation, hence social transformation. An educated person will not want to sleep in grass-thatched houses. No, that person will think about building a permanent house, hence moving from grass-thatched houses to permanent houses. Social transformation. An educated person will not think riding a bicycle is good. The age of riding a bicycle, when we were young, that men who owned the Phoenix bicycle were the one dating the most beautiful women in the villages. Today, even if you have a brand new Phoenix bicycle, the most beautiful girl in that village may not even greet you. Yes. So therefore, it is not only a choice, it is a compulsory. All of us must go and talk to our people. Madam Moderator, I want to tell you that when UBOS results came out, I summoned a meeting with all my cousin brothers and sisters, a meeting of 3 days. And the meeting had the 4 agenda. Number 1, are you educating your children? You are producing children. Are you educating them? That agenda was debated for 5 hours. The second agenda, what are you doing to see this thing called money? Uganda want all the peasants to move into money economy. What are you doing to see money? Even if you have food in the garden, you have food in the house. In today's Uganda, you may want to move somewhere and you want to, get a border bee to move. You will need to pay money. Working for money in Uganda of today is not just a luxury. It is a necessity. Is a means of life. That one took 4 hours. 1 day was done. The following day, the agenda was, what wealth are you creating? Now you have produced children. If you died today, where do you want your children to start from? I have told you, I am doing another bachelor's in public administration and management, after which I want to do master's in leadership and governance, which Muni University is going to open institute for. After that, I want to do PhD in national policy and governance. So, which individual, as an individual, what development initiative are you doing? That one took 4 hours. The following day, then I was engaging my auntie. I said, look, this auntie, you have produced A, B, C, D children. You have 80 children. You look at those who studied, how they behave. You look at those who did not study. Compare their lives. How are they? I picked one aunt who did not go to any school, but educated all her children. They are medical workers. They are science teachers. I told them, look at this aunt. She did not study, but solved the problem by educating her children. See how she's behaving. I want to tell you, my brothers and sisters, if anyone tells you not to do something in line with socioeconomic transformation, that person is the worst enemy to you. You should discard that person in your life completely. Never to meet again. Next question.
Okay, thank you so much, our guest tonight. I love the way how you're answering the question, and it touched me when you talked about the consequence of not taking a socioeconomic transformation cruel. You mentioned it in an area where I came from, that is Oluko, and seeing that the beautiful buildings around there are not even the residents from there, rather they are the Sudanese, and in the near future to come, we may likely be a refugee in our own area. That one really touched me a lot. And at the end of your answers, you talked about mindset. Remember, with the youth of today, we have a mindset that it is only when you sell a land or when you sell a plot, that is where you can get money. Even sometimes our parents are the ones. We saw some of these things from them. And then we as the children, we copy it, we do it exactly. Now you as the commissioner, how can the youth in Western region develop a mindset that can prioritize economic empowerment and social transformation? And what role models or inspirations can they draw from? You heard me right?
Hey, yeah, I got you. Oh, sorry, I had not unmuted my mic. What a beautiful question, my dear beloved sister. One, we must help our younger people, the youths, to understand that we have virgin opportunities in our region here that they should actually capture, rely on to earn income. Now, when they are able to see this thing called money, then we must tell them how they can use the money. We must get them organized to use the money for developmental activities. Because it is one thing to get money, it is another thing to use it for development activities. When this tobacco money, which had over delayed, was released the other time, can you imagine there is one man who came to withdraw 143 million from Centenary Bank here to go and keep in his house around the border. He was robbed before he reached his house. Which kind of a person, which kind of stupid person will want to pick such huge money to go and keep in the house and picking it from the bank? What was wrong when the man leaves the money in the bank? Now, that kind of education we must provide for our youths. I have seen a case where an MP, somebody who was the LC chairperson and elected an MP, when he became MP, he went and borrowed up to 2.3 billion Ugandan shilling in 3 years. And then he found a bright colored Kagame daughter in National Theatre. He went into heaven on earth, blew all the money, and even ended up in prison. Now, meaning that if you give money to this excited Western Island, you must also help the Western Island to get ready to manage the money. Now, what are the opportunities? I need to come on there. I want to tell you that at the moment, the best opportunity in Uganda is not white-collar job. It is us producing things using the available small land we have, things that are gold. When a younger man, in Adomi here, had my video that you can grow bamia, okra, dodo, jiribi, tomatoes, onions. This young man planted 100 seeds, 100 seeds of okra. So he had 100 plants of okra. The money he was able to save alone was 500,000 from that 100 plants of okra. Okra grows in 1 month. The following month, you begin to pick it. In a week, you pick twice. The money that man consumed was much bigger than the one he saved. From that, he learned that what Matua was talking was not just a theory. These were practical things. He integrated this vegetable called nakati. He integrated green pepper. As I am speaking now, that young man who was a trained laboratory technician, testing people in clinics where they would pay him 100,000 that they don't pay. That young man abandoned that job. He's now settled in commercial agriculture. Women come to buy these vegetables from him at the home. And I also found he didn't have a bank account. Next week, I am bringing him to open for him a bank account, and we have directed he should be given a PDM, and I am also going to give him another 1 million to add on the PDM, because such a salvaged, a rescued soul must be protected. Next, all these things, can you imagine? We are importing onions and tomatoes here in Western Nile. It used to be the evil people producing onions and tomatoes. Western Nile is using 12 billion to bring onions and tomatoes. What if Uruko produced the onions and tomatoes enough to supply Western Nile? Capture the 12 billions for Western Nile, capture more money from South Sudan and the Congo market and other regions in Uganda. What kind of transformation would it be in Uruko? That area called Uruko. By now, everybody there would be having a banga roof with running water, with the electricity, would even be having tarmac going there. Now, look at this. We have goats. I went to Ramachako the other day when we were supervising these road works done by our engineering department. I found a man in Ramachako called Lema Francis. He fries he roasts this goat's meat. Is on this paper. That man, in Ramachako there, market days are on Mondays and Fridays. Every day there is a market day. He slaughters 10 goats. Is that man not a billionaire? Now, goats in Odramachako there go up to 500,000. It means if you had 10 goats and you took them there, local goats, on average they are 300,000, you would have 3 million. Is that person poor? What is science or art? Does spiritual intervention or witchcraft does somebody need to keep goats? Local chicken is money there. Those who are Muslim, you'll forgive me. Pigs. There is a market in Odramachako there where they buy pigs in wholesale. Congolese come with the trailer to buy pigs because Congolese have a superstitious belief that if you ate the meat of pig, which is called pork, nobody can bewitch you. So the Congolese who work in the gold and the businesses believe once you eat pork, you are now sanitized. Nobody can bewitch you. That's why pork is on a high demand in Congo. Why can't we rear more pigs to supply that abundant market, relying on the superstition of the Congolese? These opportunities are there. Passion fruit, which the lazy man is a crop. Once you plant, it just crawls on a support. A sack of passion fruit in a Juba is a 2 million Ugandan shilling. Now, what sense does it need for somebody to do passion fruit? Now, if you go to this main market, even green pepper, carrot is coming from Kenya. Onion, Kenya, Tanzania. Tomatoes we are eating here in Arua City are coming from Kenya. Can you imagine? If you went to Kenya to see where those guys are growing the tomatoes, you will come back and they said, God gave us everything and we are just unserious. That is why I made a very hard statement that if anyone dies poor in northern Uganda, that person is going to hell rest assuredly, because God gave us the basic wealth that we are not using. So my dear moderator and ladies and gentlemen, we have role models here, like the Adomi boy man. In Oluko there is a lady called Violet Nyakuru. Madam Moderator, you go and see how the kind of piggery she's doing there. She was even growing onion there. She has goats there. She has a chicken. She has even a horticulture there. Just in Oluko there, as you are going to the fall. Violet Nyakuru, if you see the piggery she's doing there, that quality, I have never seen it anywhere in the world. The role models are there. If you go to Maracha, there is a man called Wole Patrick in Okokoro there. The guy is doing wonders there. The owner of Lesuba, this lady Anne Hope Angoyo, she has 1 acre model farm in Moni here. I am telling you, she's even the one supplying chicken in this other popular, famous restaurant at the Doni petrol station, opposite the Arua campus here. The tomatoes, the green peppers that are eaten, the chicken that are eaten in her hotel, Lesuba, are produced by herself. We have role models here. It is only that our people do not have interest for local chicken. We have our own man called Matua Job of Genesis Agric Technology. He has done deep research on the local chicken value chain, how you can deal with the biosecurity of the chicken, the feeding, and the housing, how we can use the local chicken for economic empowerment. Amandua has done that. We have Gili presidential model farm here. It is just lack of interest. The Baganda say, Kewali afayo. Our default. Madam Moderator?
All right, I'm here now. Thank you so much, sir. I was away from my phone, but now I'm here. Thank you so much for those beautiful answers. We are proceeding to the third question, which says, what are some of the common misconceptions about socioeconomic transformation that youth in West Nile region might have, and how can they be addressed?
One, our people think it is a Museveni's idea. I have explained to you that all societies undergo transformation, metamorphosis, from the three stages of peasant economy to modern economy to prosperous economy. I referred you to the Greek society for reference. So that's misconception one. Misconception two, we have acute leadership problem in Western Nile. Majority, for a very long time, our leaders have been telling our people their poverty is created by government. That has sunk deep into the minds of our people, and they think their misery, their poverty is caused by government, which is a total lie. Now, misconception three, many of our youths today think about white collar job more than these other real jobs. People want to study, become teachers. Even the teachers today, they want to remain with the salary of a teacher, the meager salary of a teacher. They cannot diversify to do another thing. Now, that acute leadership is the major missing link. We needed the religious leaders. The other time I told the bishops, St. Paul wrote his letters to Corinthians, to Romans, to Galatians. Are they aware that their Galatians and Romans are the Western Islands? What letters are they writing to them about poverty? Why must we have a priest who is well educated presiding over a poorly educated population? That UBOS is saying 77% are illiterate. They have not completed primary level. So, therefore, we have to challenge our people. We have to we have to wake up. We have to own our problems and deal with it squarely instead of apportioning blame. The Banyankole have a funny saying that a man who fails to impregnate his wife may say that the route where he was supposed to put the stick was very slippery, so hence he failed to mount her. What a lame excuse. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, moderator. The answers that you have given for us shows clearly that there are some experiences, there are some personal experiences you are having. Can you help us to share some stories that illustrate the impact of socio-economic transformation on individuals or communities in West Nile region, and what lessons
myself
can you learn from these examples?
I am a living testimony of a transformed person.
Tell us that personal experience now.
I told you I described myself at the introductory level as an abandoned child who rose to glory. Madam Moderator, my father and my mother separated when I was 1 month in the womb of my mother. It means people did not even know whether she was pregnant. My mother produced me at their place. I grew at their place. I grew in a polygamous family. If I did not study, I would not be the Matua you are hearing today. So studies was a transformation on my part. That is number one. So the Matua of today an abandoned child who rose to glory. Job, my story. There's a book I'm going to release like that. A very interesting book. Number 2, I did not give up, given my earlier miserable life. I tell you, the shoes I used to go and do interview at Ottawa VSS, where I'm going to lecture tomorrow, I borrowed it from a cousin brother of mine. It was not my shoes. But today, if you enter my house, the number of shoes, the qualities I have, they are really, they make some people jealousy. Yes. So therefore, I can tell you the role models are here. We have the lives of engineer Aita Joel, Annie Angoyo, Wale Patrick, Madam Nyakuru Violet, the lady in Uruko. I call her my socioeconomic darling. I call her my socioeconomic darling. The models are here. We have guys here. This man, Mbati Saverino, this man of California birth. These guys began their business. What did they do? You know, in Maracha, they eat grasshopper, kuru. So these guys went to hunt grasshoppers, dried them, sold it. Then they began to sell eggs, boil the eggs in the market, and he has become what he is today. A P6 dropout, who is now owning a bus company. Can that story of Mbati inspire somebody? A P6 dropout, who is now owning a bus company. And he's even sponsoring his son now to become MP in Maracha County. We have a lot of examples here. So therefore, we are not short of examples. It is only that we are short of people with the interest to go and learn from these examples. I have goats in Ireke. And actually, I'm looking for land to do a demonstration of onion. I'm going for 100 acres in Noya, where I want to do onion and then encourage the community to produce the same thing with me. Then we aggregate and sell it out to bigger markets. The examples are there. Yesterday, I was at All Saints CD School all over. I took this Adomi younger man. When he told his story there, very many other people came up and they were telling their own story. There's a lady who woke up and said she was a clinical officer. She was a nurse. She worked in clinics. She was not being paid. She left clinics and started growing rice. And that she's now paying even the daughter in the school there, using the money he gets from selling rice. People told their testimonies there, which were very beautiful. Thank you very much.
All right, Commissioner, thank you so much. As we are proceeding to the next question, according to your personal experiences, and some of these things are not short-term things, they are long-term things. But majority of us, the youth, sometimes we look at some other things which may take us long. We prefer using shortcuts. So how can the youth in West Nile region balance short-term needs with long-term goals for socio-economic transformation? And what strategies can they use to stay focused and motivated?
A very good question. If you want a short-term need to be addressed, produce fast maturing short-term crops. It takes 3 months to harvest an onion. An acre of an onion will give you over 30 million. An acre of tomato well cared will give you over 30 million. Government has deployed agriculture extension workers per sub-county. Even in a rural city here, we have deployed them according to the previous sub-counties in Aivu. The 7 sub-counties in Aivu, each is having agriculture extension worker who is earning 4 million science salary. Now, when these youths are able to produce okra is just 2 months. Within 2 months, you will see the money. You will be in the money. Produce green pepper. Dodo, jiribi, nakati. Within a month, you will see money. Can you imagine? And people buy them here in a rural city. Longer term, what do you do? I encourage our younger people to acquire soft skills, hard skills, technical skills. Can you imagine? How can you start from P1 and up to university? And that you have not made friends who cannot lead you to opportunity. The problem is now you as an individual. There is a course unity in the university under the course I'm doing called Customer Relationship Management. It is taught by Dr. Walugembe. In fact, in the discussion of that course unit, I told my fellow students that if you began from primary one and you completed university and you have never made friends who can lead you to opportunity, you needed to repeat the whole life cycle of studies. You did nothing. The problem is you as an individual. The skill of building social network, that soft skill is very important. In the world of today, we're in a world of connections. Without connections, you are nobody. The good clothes you have, it is a friend who led you there. The good boyfriend you have, it is a friend maybe who you visited and you met him there. The good thing you have there is through connection. Connections are important ingredients of life, of life aspect that I encourage all our youth to have. I am an assistant RCC today. The person who got me appointed is Karangwa Moses in Kayunga. You can imagine. So if I was trying to build my social network, I would not reach him. He's the one who recommended me. The security vetted me. But it is him who recommended me. Not somebody from Western Nile. Nobody here should say he's the one. No. So building social network is strategic for longer term success of an individual. Western Islands should do that, especially my younger people. As we move forward to Vision 2040, Uganda in 2040, where we want modern and prosperous Uganda. If we don't prepare, we will be refugees, we will be slaves in that Uganda. Our only land would have been occupied by other people. This is the most bitter thing, to say the least. Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner, you did talk about here developing skills. So what are some of the key skills or competence that youth in Western Nile region need to develop to drive socio-economic transformation? And how can they acquire these skills? We are not getting you. Unmute yourself first. You may be talking.
Oh, sorry. I had not unmuted yet. I was already flowing. You know, I am now spiritually possessed at this point. Now, networking is one skill. Building relationships, discipline. Then there is that skill of learning from friends. I tell you, even when you a graduate, like that Violet Nyakuru, she's a graduate of social work and social administration, now is doing commercial agriculture. If she got stuck that she only want to restrict herself to the field of professional field of social work and social administration, she was no more. Acquire some vocational skills. Is it in agriculture? Is it in mechanics? Is it in electronics? Now a rural city is developing very fast. Who are those building the houses? Who are those wiring the houses? Who are those plumbing the houses? These second technical skills. Please, when you go to the villages, don't encourage all the children who are in school to look for degrees alone. It is not about paper fire. Somebody can go to Arua Technical Institute Ragemu here, acquire the skill of automobile mechanics, and you open a garage here, which should be a garage where everyone would like to go and do maintenance of the vehicle. My cousin brother, Johnny Bosco Washington Toko, is in Ntinda there. For him, after senior 4, he went to Nakawa Technical Institute, did the mechanics, and I can tell you today, he has developed himself more than the whole of me, the RDC. That alone, that skill alone, has helped him. In fact, of the 80 children of that aunt of mine, it is only him who is far better than the rest. So we must learn certain vocational skills. Is it in commercial agriculture? Is it in mechanics? Is it in wire electrical? Is it in plumbing? Because Arua is at that take-off stage. Who are those I ask a question. Who are those building Arua? Who are those plumbing the houses of people? Who are those wiring them? Thank you.
right, Commissioner, we are proceeding to question number 7. You did talk about here building strategic relationships with the people. Sometimes this one can lead us to acquire some skills, and you have given yourself as an example the person who recommended you to become assistant resident city commissioner wasn't even from your ends, meaning it was the relationship that you build with that outsider now which opens for you the way. But sometimes fear is one of the factors that can't even allow us to reach some of the things that we are supposed to do. But now, as the youth of West Nile, how can we overcome the fear? Sometimes it is even the doubt or uncertainty when pursuing socio-economic transformation initiatives. So what support systems can they put in place to overcome these fears or the doubts or everything?
The good news is that the government of the Republic of Uganda has incorporated socio-economic transformation as its main agenda in the National Development Plan 4. In fact, if you read the objective after here, I know all of us, but any younger person who is able to listen to me now has internet service, has a smartphone. After here, all of you should go and read the objectives, the mission statement, of the objectives of National Development Plan 4. It talks about increasing household income for employment and socioeconomic transformation. So the government has adopted socioeconomic transformation as its main agenda. It is what the president is talking about. So I encourage the youths to get organized. That is one important thing. When you organize, you can access youth livelihood fund to start from. When you organize, you can access PDM. By the way, PDM, 30% of that money is supposed to be for youth. Every time money comes in a quarter, 100 million, the 30 million of that money is for the youth. The 30 million of that money is for women. The 10 million is for people with disabilities. The 10 million is for elderly, and the balance is for men. So therefore, youth should embrace this government program. That's number one. 2, youth should link up. You can even be a choir member. Be in any group within the society to which you belong. Please, that is very important. In those groups, you will learn character, you will learn skills, you will learn 1, 2, 3 things that must be of help to you. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Commissioner. As you were explaining here, you did talk about here the PDM money. Can you describe a scenario where socio-economic transformation has positively impacted a community or individual in West Nile region, and what factors contributed to this success?
Thank you very much. You know, to do anything productive, which is a pillar number 1 of PDM. Pillar number 1 of PDM is a production, processing, and marketing. To do something productive, you need factors of production. Factor number 1 of production is land. Even when you have land, you will need capital. Capital can be both money and even machinery. So that 1 million a youth is able to get can then help the youth to buy seed of onion, which can plant an acre. That seed in Omia agribusiness here, the best quality seed for an acre will require 400,000. Then that the other balance will help that youth to use maybe a tractor service or human service to till the land. Then when that youth is able to plant that 1 acre of onion, take care of it very well using the remaining balance of the money, and earn 30 million, that youth is already in money economy. So therefore, I just want to tell us that the first thing we must start as people of West Nile is belief. Let's believe that change. In fact, one of the worst poverty in West Nile here, which I describe as the poverty of the mind promax, is Alioomivori. our people have given up. There are people who even name their children Aliusiamabo. Kekresi. Aliusimibo. Now, can that person even try even to plant one seed of dodo? I don't think. So we must rediscover ourselves. Say, we can. Yes, we can. With yes, we can slogan alone, Obama, an African American, became the president of the greatest nation on earth. That belief is lacking. That confidence is lacking. We need it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Commissioner. We are proceeding to question number 9. That is the second last question from my side, after which we are giving an opportunity for the listeners. What message would you like to convey to youth in Western region about taking ownership of their economic empowerment and social transformation? And what actions can they take to get started? Unmute yourself first.
Yeah, thank you. My first message is, if we joke as youths of Western Nile, we will become refugees and slaves on our own land. Sudan, South Sudan, DR Congo, Central African Republic have all failed states, or states that are not stable. People with the money in these countries have invaded Western Nile and they are buying land, they are settling at a terrible rate. Before 40 years, which will find some of you in your prime time, Arua City would have swallowed up the whole of Maracha, would have swallowed up the whole of Terego. The city is already in Ochoko, would have swallowed up the whole of Vuran, will be in Nebi at the periphery. There, Nebi will be like the Mokono of Arua City. If we joke and we don't empower ourselves as the youths of Western Nile, we will become refugees and slaves on our own land. I don't know, Madam Moderator, whether this is what our people would like to be in that kind of a world. So therefore, I urge all younger people in Western Nile. It is about existential threat. It's about survival of our people that we must embrace socio-economic transformation as the only strategy to be able to live on our own land as the landlords of the place. Otherwise, sooner than later, we will become refugees and slaves on our own land. A very bitter truth. Madam, thank you. Moderator, you can go to the next question.
Okay, here comes the last question from my side. How can youths in Western region measure the success of their socio-economic transformation initiatives? And what indicators can they use to track their progress?
If you go and do additional degree and it makes you better, that is a success, a milestone you can talk about. If you did plant a commercially viable crop, say an acre of onion, even a quarter of onion, and it gives you 20 million or 10 million, that's a milestone. That's a success. So it is very easy to observe. In other words, they will observe the progress of their socioeconomic activity by seeing their lifestyle. How they are progressing. Yes. It is just as simple as that. There's no need even for complexity to study it. You don't even need a microscope to really find out whether you have progressed socioeconomically. You'll just see it with your lifestyle, with your progress. Thank you.
All right, as I did say earlier on, that was the last question from me. So thank you, Mr. Richard, for sharing your valuable insights and expertise with us today. We hope this program will inspire and empower the youth of West Nile region to take ownership of their economic empowerment and social transformation. So this is the right time, and we are turning to our listeners. CEO, as usual, you will help me to check on Facebook if there are some questions from there. You are going to read them. And inside here, we are going to raise hands as usual. I've seen there already 2 hands up. We are starting with our brother Matua Emmanuel. Can you unmute yourself and have a question?
Thank you so much, Program Manager. I thank you so much for hosting our man, Mr. Matua Richard. I would like to know the procedure here, whether I supposed to ask my questions once forever or I ask one by one and he answers like what you have been doing. First, guide me here.
I think for saving time, I'll just ask them once and then he will be noticing them down as we keep asking them, and then he will answer them just once rather than giving you time and then for him.
Okay. Thank you so much for giving me that time. I've been following Mr. Matua Richard, the RCC, the Assistant RCC of Warua City, and I like him so much for his boldness and for educating us so that we can also enter in a social economic transformation. I think social economic transformation is actually what the government prioritizes on. So I have some questions here for him. I would like him to clarify or to say something or to answer my questions. So my question goes like this. At first, my question goes like this. Social economic transformation needs social cohesion. People of West Nile. Is there any social cohesion from our people? That is my first question to him. Is there any social cohesion from our people?
I want to answer that question quickly. My brother Emmanuel Amatio, from the political campaigns you have seen in Western Nile, you will realize that truly we are not a cohesive society. I saw the kind of insults my senior sister Bako Koba Koro Zoe and Honorable and the Feta Joffrey, we are hurling at each other. That insult, when you hear it, the kind of division we have seen in our campaign here will tell you that actually one of the impediments we have in West Nile is that we don't have social cohesion. Go ahead.
Thank you. So if we don't have social cohesion, in social cohesion, and social cohesion can be easily implemented when government has a hand in it. The government of NRM really more interested to solve the people in West, to solve the problem of people in West Nile.
My brother,
you can answer that one later.
Charity begins at home. You don't need the president to become the head of your family to get organized. Let us accept our realities, own our problems, and organize ourselves. Locally here, let us do it. We have religious leaders. Let them become the mediators to unite our people. What kind of preachings do they have in the church? If you assuming you are now the priest in a church where the politicians are quarreling, abusing each other, insulting their mothers in public, would you think you have done your part? Please, my brother Emmanuel Amatio, we should not wait for a savior from hell or heaven to come to organize us. We must own our problem and learn to organize ourselves. Ochema Cheni.
Thank you so much for that answer. But still, I can also bring that question to you again. The reason why I decided to say that I have to bring it again is, you know, nowadays, even just recently, government of Uganda have been giving vehicles to our kings. So why can't they channel such kind of instead of giving cars to our kings? Why can't they channel that money to modernize or to improve the standard of living of people in Western or in their country?
Okay, thank you very much for that question, my brother. You know, in societies where they have organized the kingdom, like Buganda, they have moved very far. If you take UBOS report of 2024, Buganda is least in poverty indicator. Buganda is least in terms of education. Giving the vehicles to those cultural leaders, if the cultural leaders could use those vehicles to organize their society, then it would be more of an advantage. Your interest would be, will those cultural leaders use those vehicles for the betterment of their society? If not, then it will be a liability. But if they can use it to organize, for example, one of the reasons that we are struggling as the Lubara people, we don't have organized cultural institution. The quarrel between Feta and the Bakokoba Koro, the king of Lubara would call them and say, you my people, stop with this. We don't have that. We used to have Bishop Dandua, who would do the father figure here. Now he's no more. I tell you, the cultural institutions are needed. Go to places where they are. Those places have moved further than we are. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me proceed to another question. You talked about prosperity. How is it that the young ones are not prospering financial, social, and economically in this government of NRM from West Nile, and the aged ones are priorities for this government?
Thank you. I told you that society transformation has 3 stages, from peasant to modern and prosperous stage. You cannot just jump from peasant state to prosperous state without entering a modern state. I ask you, if you visit my brother Emmanuel Amatio, you are from Terego. If you go to Terego and go to the whole museum, those days, a traditional household in a Western Nile would have Dodo, Jiribi, Alukutubi, Agobi, around the homestead. Today, even some homes do not have the Dodo which grows on its own. There is a Muganda who has gone to Terego there and hired the 5 acres of land. That Muganda is producing tomatoes and bringing 50 boxes in a rural market here. Each box is at 500,000. That's 25 million. So what I want you and me to do is to go to our people and tell them, can we do the basic? Can we first start to produce the things for the market instead of producing for the food? That would change them from being just peasant farmers to being commercial farmers. From there, then we see how they can improve themselves to enter the modern state before we go to prosperous state. You will never jump those stages. There is no miracle in it, even if you slept in the church. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that answer. The reason why I ask that question is because, as per now in Uganda, the population of youth is far better, and actually far away from those ones, the aged ones like that. Then, if the government decided to prioritize on aged people who are soon going to leave this, country and going head into maybe heaven or hell, I don't know. Why they supposed to concentrate on the young ones so that young ones can bring change that can also modernize the country, that can also develop the country. That's why I asked that question.
My brother Emmanuel, let me put a rejoinder here. Please, in a society, how old are you, Emmanuel? You could respond to that. I want to tell you, I'm 42 years. How old are you?
I'm 30 years old, please.
Yes?
Actually, I'm 31 years old.
31 years old. Very soon you will not be young. Age is a number. I am now 42 years old. My brother, it is not about biology, but ideology. It is not about jobology, careerism, but about ideology. We are in a democracy. A democracy is it gives chance for everybody to participate. If the majority youth organize themselves and they don't want the old people there, they will vote them out. And I can tell you that will be decisive. Go to Vora. Lenia Charity has been elected as flag bearer of NRM, defeating Kodabo Adiko Yovan. So if the youth get organized and decide to be in charge, they will be. Talk talk about organization of the youths, not domination of the old people. If the youths are the majority and they will organize then they will truly be in charge. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let me also let me ask this question. I have also another question here. You talked about education.
How I wish it will be the last question so that we can give chance to other people.
That's why I said I have many questions for you. You give me time. Let me read them to you. Let me put them to you.
Not really. Emmanuel, other people also need to ask him. We are just remaining with in fact 30 minutes because we're supposed to end this program at 10:30. This will be the last question so that we give chances to other people.
Madam Program Manager, I will request you to give me 2 minutes. I put these questions once. Or actually 1 minute is enough. I put the questions once and then he answered them.
It's okay.
Thank you. Yeah, Mr. Matua Richard, the RCC of Arua City. You talked about education. Actual education differences from families to societies. What are some of the initiatives or steps government has initiated to stop these differences? That is first question. Let me consider it as a first question. Then second one, business-wise, you talked about income stability, which we're supposed to prioritize on. But starting a business needs links that are not addressed well by the government. What can be best suitable solutions? Does government be blamed here for not prioritizing on his people? My last question, Mr. Matua Richard.
That question is not clear. Can you come with the second question clearly? It is not clear. Can you build it well?
The second question is you talked about business. So business-wise, you talked about income stability, which we're supposed to prioritize on. But starting a business needs what? Needs links. Actually, big businesses needs links that are not addressed well by the government. What can be best suitable solutions for that? Does government not be blamed here, real? That's my question. Then last one, Mr. Matua Richard, you mentioned names here. The names you mentioned are people who are doing well in socio-economic transformation. My question to you is, if one person or two people are wealthy out of 500 people in the community, who is them? Is government's negligence, or you are blaming the other 498 people who are very poor? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I've heard your question. I would like to give you very honest answers. Madam Moderator, can I go ahead?
It's okay, you can.
Thank you very much, my brother Emmanuel Mateo. I like the vigor with which you are asking these questions. And I see you have an issue with the ideological orientation, which I want to really take personal to deal with it. One, education initiative and the differences between homes. Under the Constitution of Uganda, education is a right. Under Education Act, failing to take your child to school is a crime. However, if we begin to arrest people here for failing to take their children to schools, people will say we are harsh. Government has a policy to build one government-aided primary school per parish or ward. Government has a policy to build one government secondary school per sub-county. Government has a policy to build one technical government school per constituency. Government has a policy to build one government-aided university per sub-region. I therefore want to tell you that my brother Emmanuel Mateo, the current government, has tried its level best to put these facilities The missing gap is that our people, because of their poverty, cannot sustain children in schools. To have a child in school, it means you are going to buy uniforms, you are going to buy books. In Maracha, in a state primary school, PTA money was increased from 1,000 to 3,000. The parents wanted to fight the school authority. I thought the school authorities, you are lucky, they would have cut off your heads. How do you go and ask money from somebody who is poor? Agwazini wamvu ezia uimadria ele moro disilinga ili fukaliri mafamini PTA ne iso de good ajusiko. The best you can do is to educate this person on how to get money. You boss is saying 77% of the population is illiterate. 54% is in subsistence economy. It means our head teachers of primary schools must know that when you admit children from these homes, you are admitting two groups of people, the parents and the children. What are they doing to create a forum to educate the parents on what they can do to save money to keep children in the schools? My brother Emmanuel is hell-bent to want to blame government. Government has done its part. It is us who have not done our part. Let us be very brutally honest on our problem. I told you, a Munyamukole man who has failed to make the wife pregnant, explaining that it is because where he was supposed to put the skin is slippery, the Munyamukole women are watery. That person, that man is very stupid. It is his wickedness to fail to do so. Which government has taken away any piece of land of a Western Island here to prevent the person from producing these crops I was telling you to see money? Which money would enable them to be able to buy books, to buy uniforms for their children? My brother Emmanuel, government is offering free primary education. Free education from secondary up, senior 1 up to senior 6. It means the least educated Western Island would minimally be a senior 6 dropout. Why are we having a statistics whereby 77% have not completed primary? Here you cannot blame government. Blame ourselves, the elites. We talk in English here. We, the local leaders, for failing to, religious leaders, political leaders, cultural leaders, for failing to mobilize our people into doing the right thing. Business. Government has very many facilities. There is a grow money for women who are already in business. This grow money was misunderstood. Grow money was brought for women who were already in business. Their businesses were registered and they had at least 5 workers to give them a leverage. Some people thought grow money was given to a woman who is going to start business. That is not for grow. For starting something, go to PDF for the last mile person, or go to a Mioga. Now, or go to Owepo. There is that money for women. For youth, there is a PDF. My brother Emmanuel, it is the first government in the history of Uganda since independence to give money to individuals for development program. No other government from 1962 to date had ever done that. Not even the good Obote government. The best Obote did was to go and bring cocks from India that were distributed in northern Uganda and eastern Uganda. What you hear, the Madis, they call Ulogo. Those were the breeds of cock brought from India. They were supposed to move freely and they pollinate our hens here. In Western Nile, our people ate it and you cannot even hear any history about it. It is only the Langi and the Bateso who were able to sustain it up to date. It is only this current government that is giving 1 million to poor households to do something, to produce something, to see money. Please, this is the best government, my brother Emmanuel. Then about who is to blame for the poverty of the people. Poverty is the mindset. I can tell you, if it is raining, your neighbor is receiving the rain, you are also receiving. If your neighbor is able to produce onions and take to market to get money, and for you are not producing, when it rained for both of you, it is your own poverty of the mind promaxy. Don't go and blame the neighbor for your own failure. That is a lame excuse I want us, the people of Western Nile, to avoid. By and large, my brother Emmanuel, I want us to own our problem. You know, when you own your problem, That is the first stage in a confession. You will be able to find the solutions for it. But if you keep blaming another person for your own problem, you will never find the solution for your problem and die of that problem. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Commissioner and Brother Amateur Emmanuel, for those wonderful questions. Members, the time is now. You can raise up your hand. The ones who can type, you can type right from there. We shall also read. Any hand anywhere, please. Mr. Ronald, I've seen your hand up.
Thank you so much, moderator. I would like to thank the Deputy RCC for this good program for the people of West Nile. Indeed, we must acknowledge our biggest challenge in West Nile is attitude change. There, RCC, you are spot on. Allow me ask one or two questions. One, you said that, of course, factors of production, one is the land, which the West Nile has. But also allow me put forward to you that, yes, we have land in West Nile. As you can see, the demographics, the population of West Nile. The last time I moved around in a small village where I come from, you realize that each person, actually every family has about the minimum of 4 people in every family, of which you find a family will own 1 to 2 acres of land. And the land is subdivided in such a way that each member of the family owns like a quarter or half an acre of land. Truly, with that kind of land, how productive would such a family be to come out of poverty? And what measures can government put forward to address that? That's question 1. 2, when you look at the capital as the second factor of production, you talked of course, capital in form of machinery, equipment could be in form of money. You gave us a very good example about the Grow project, which is for women. And last time I was watching a program on UBC radio, I got to realize that this Grow project, it aims, this Grow project is aimed to be given to people or women who earn at least who can make a profit of 800,000 in his or her, in her business. So look at 800,000, and there are other strings which are attached to this very Grow project. Like if you are to get such a loan, you must have land or security, anything called security. In most cases, these banks look at the land as security. So with our land tenure system and our land system, like the land is communally owned and no one owns a title for such a communal land, where do you think such a person coming from a village down there would get security to acquire such a loan? And how accessible are these government programs, these loans to the people? For instance, here in Maracha, where is the office of okay, where is such an office where someone can easily go and acquire or inquire about what about such government initiatives like the Grow project? Thank you.
Beautiful questions and handsome questions, my brother Ronald. Are you from Maracha?
Yes, I come from there.
I'm also from Maracha. From which part of Maracha are you coming?
I do come from Upper Village, that is under Jotan Council.
Of Jotown Council. Yeah, so there is a land problem there. That is the truth. Ronald, I want to answer your question. You are very right. Maracha is one of the land stressed districts in the Western Nile. Heavily populated, less land, and the land has lost fertility. But there is a good news. Maracha is at the border with the DR Congo. My brother Ronald, the Luo migrated from Barel Gazelle to come to the present day northern Uganda. Even for economic reasons, our people should migrate. My cousin brother is in Chigumba. He's doing agriculture there, and he has even bought land and he has built a permanent house there. Our people in the Maracha should go and get higher land the other side of Congo. In fact, most of them, they even have relatives in that side of Congo, but they have never used it for economic reason to do agriculture the other side. I agree with you, the fragmented land, they divided the land in our place here is one of the impediments of socio-economic transformation because the available land is now too little to do productive venture. From 1996, the President Yoweri Museveni has been quarreling with our people. Don't fragment land. Don't fragment land. If a family is having 2 acres of land, why should that family divide that land? They should use it collectively. Produce onion collectively on the 2 acres. Sell, divide the produce. Produce something collectively on the land. Sell, divide the proceeds. So for the people in Maracha, my people, if you are here, good enough, Ronald, you are here. When we are talking to our people, we should begin to encourage them even to migrate for economic reasons. They should not disappear away from Maracha per se. They can have their families here. They can have homes here. But agriculture and water view, let them go to places where there is a land. A good number of people from all over there, Nyadi, they have gone to Yumbe, where there is a land. There's a lot of land in Obongi. There's a land in Izeu. There's a land in Izombo. There's a land in Mariokolo. There's a land in the lower part of Terego. Please migrate, hire land, or buy land, do agriculture there. Earlier the better. Even if it means they buy land the other side of Congo, let us do. I repeat, for economic reasons, the Luo even migrated. Second question about government program facilities to support people. I only talked about grow, but there are others. Today I want to tell you that government has what we call agriculture credit facility. I repeat, agriculture credit facility, ACF. This is the money given by Bank of Uganda through Centenary Bank, through Post Bank. Government is giving 8 million to 2.1 billion to people who want to engage in commercial agriculture with interest payment of 10% per annum, 1 year grace period of payment. Grace period means 1 year when you are not paying, and a repayment period of 8 years. In Western Nile here, Honorable Didi George Boka, MP of Obongi constituency, the tractor he's using now, he acquired it using agriculture credit facility. Even when you are selling agricultural produce, you in agriculture value chain, you can access this money, only that yours will be at an interest of 12% per annum. Most of the people you see with the tractors plowing land doing agriculture in Noya there, they bought it using agriculture credit facility. In fact, the best money for agriculture work, commercial agriculture work, is this one, not PDM. PDM is our flagship program as the government in power, is for the noisy making, for populism, for Birango. But again, very many people have used it well, and it has boosted the GDP of the country, given the latest statistics given by PSST, that is the Permanent Secretary and Secretary to the Treasury, Dr. Ramadani Gobi. I thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, Brother Ronald, and our guest tonight. Commissioner, you may help us to clear some doubts here. I'm seeing there is a confusion where you were giving an answer, a question from Matua Emmanuel. You did talk about a free education, like from secondary in Uganda. I don't know when this one started because it got me stuck. You make a statement saying the least educated person in West Nile should at least be senior 6. Reasons being a secondary is free. I don't know how that is possible. Maybe the secondary schools we went in West Nile we are different because the only thing government was paying partially was the examination fee, but the school fees parents we are paying. May you help us to explain this deeper so that we understand because we still have our siblings behind there.
Thank you. I've got the question. Let me answer. Universal Primary Education (UPE) caters for primary level. Free education. Parents' role is to feed the child, to buy uniform, to buy scholastic materials like books and a pen. Universal Secondary Education (USCE) caters from senior 1 to senior 4. There are very many government USCE schools in Western Nile here. All the newly built city schools that are USCE schools. Then you have UPOLET, which is for senior 5 to senior 6. In Arua city here, Arua Public is under UPOLET. Even Matua SS, Adumi SS. But there are certain schools which had foundation borders like St. Joseph's College Ombati, Mvara SS, Muni SS. These foundation borders refused to give these schools to become USCE or UPOLET schools. For them, their schools where the middle class, people who have money, who want to pay, are the one educating their children. Maybe you were taken to those schools, but I can tell you Arua Public here, which is actually currently the best secondary school in Western Nile. It has 2,849 students, and is producing results. But even if you go to see the school environment, it has a Kambala kind of environment. Arua Public SS, Arua Secondary SS. These are purely USE and UPOLET schools. So when I talk about free education, I meant those ones there, where people without money can take their children, but those with the money can take them to Ombachi, to Munigal, to Ediofe Girls, to Vara, which foundation bodies refuse to become USE or UPOLET schools. Thank you.
All right, Commissioner, let me add something here. You mentioned the Arua Public SS. Our last born completed from there. I am the very person who has been paying the school fees. If it is said to be that it is under USE, why is it that students are still paying school fees? And you mentioned CD school. Ogoko City is one of the examples. I went to Ogoko City. I personally, my parents were paying the school fees. And as I'm speaking right now, even the number of students doesn't even reach 100. They are below 60. Why? If it is said to be government free, and yet there people are paying school fees, other requirements they are requesting, what kind of free education is that one there?
Yeah, thank you very much. When the president met cows and the town clerks in Chankwanze, one of the things he complained about, which he referred to as the penny points of the citizen, is the legal charges by schools on a parent. These schools are coming up with excuses of charging money for feeding children. For example, in Arua Public, there are no fees, but what parents are paying is feeding money. Remember, I said feeding is the role of the parent. But if parents agree to collect money to feed their children collectively, it is allowed. So that money is actually not school feed. They refer to it as the PTA money. It is the money made to feed the children. I want to tell you there is no school fees. If they charge you and they call it school fees, you come to my office. The following day, somebody will be arrested.
Okay, as a parent now, if I will say, I don't want my child to be fed at school, but rather I will get a place where this child can go and feed and then comes back for this election, will the school administration allow this child to study free?
That is
As you said, that is not school fees.
That is what exactly government meant, and that's how it is supposed to be. I want to agree that on many occasions, some of these elites, some of these school authorities, the board of members of board of governors and school authorities have abused that thing. But I can tell you, if you have a child admitted there, and for you don't want to pay there for the child to eat there, your child should study free, and nobody should ask you any money. You are free to come to our office. We will protect you properly.
It's okay, Commissioner. We shall try this, but in our city, Arua, I don't think if that one is really possible. That one cannot happen. But we shall try it because there's a saying, try to fail, but never fail to try. So let me give the opportunity to Lat Uganda Limited. Unmute yourself. Lat Uganda Limited.
Yes. Good evening. So I'm very glad for this presentation of the guest of tonight's program. I only want to ask one question. The question I'm asking here is concerning business for economic transformation. Me personally, I'm a business person, I'm a businessman, though I have some work to do with the government. I like doing business so much, but I'm facing a challenge. More especially if you come to our city, Arua, you'll find Indians that have flocked the city, and these Indians, they are owning supermarkets, they are owning these retail shops, and these Indians who are also the one manufacturing these same projects. Sometimes they have companies in Uganda, do manufacturing companies in Uganda. Others they manufacture from their country, they import it here in Uganda. So what best can RCC do for us to curb this tendency whereby all the business is being taken by Indians? Because at least if this could be possible, if they are now doing a manufacturing and they should give us a wholesale trade and they should give us maybe retail trade, but they are now everywhere and they sell these things at the price which they are manufacturing these things. Now for us, if you go and you start trading that kind of that very business, it becomes very hard for you to sustain such a business. What can be done best to really solve that one? Then the second question is, there are government policies. For me, I don't want to blame the government. There are government policies which are real, they are well planned, and their directives given to be implemented, more especially in schools, even in hospitals. I was very surprised somewhere where I'm working in Kasanda district. There is a health center which is for government. They took somebody who was found maybe practically. I don't know what happened to him, about they knocked him, they beat him. When they took this person to the hospital, the in charge of the hospital, the health center, decided to refuse to work on this person, and he instructed the watchman to lock the vehicle which took that person. They don't, if they don't take their person, they are not going to open the gate for the vehicle to come out. So there are government policies which are supposed to be implemented, and now they are failing because sometimes people who are supposed to implement them, they are not doing the rightful thing. What best can be done to avoid this? There are some issues of godparents. I'm a LB of Ultra Vessels and the Kololo publications. There's a saga which took place in Kololo, and those culprits, they were arrested under corruption unity. At the end of the day, they are all released. Even they are now moving around. Even they are still in the district working. What can be done best to avoid such issues of godparents and so on? These are two questions. Thank you so much.
Yeah, my brother, you have a very, very beautiful question. First of all, your pain is my pain. I have gone through Arua City. We used to have the famous Ozu brothers. I don't know whether you can remember the famous Ozu brothers.
Yes, very well, but they are
I have seen the Logbaras, the Western Islands are now in the corridors. All the shops on the main streets have been taken by Indians. I want to tell you one thing Indians are doing which we Western Islands don't do. Those people, they love themselves. They work together. You find the Indian who is having a hardware here, is getting the cement free from Tororo Cement, which is again owned by another Indian. Even the store here is opened for this Indian by the Tororo Cement. This Indian is just in charge of selling and returning the money there. They are doing free businesses. They have that trust. We don't have that trust as the people in Uganda. We lack that trust. So you find in the supermarket here, the Mokwano products here, this businessman is getting free. This Indian is getting free from Mokwano, which is owned by Indian. Is getting sugar free from Kakira, owned by Indian. Because they know, rest assuredly, that person will sell and pay the company, the other company. So they're benefiting from what we call manufacturer's credit. For us, we have lost credibility in terms of trust concerning that. I made a tweet that if President Idi Amin did not send away the Asians, we would be slaves in our own country today. Then I said they have come back. Now they have owned 60% of Uganda's economy is in their hand. And that they are now looking for political power. If we give them a boss, we will be finished. An Indian called Lord Popper from UK, Ranga, the Indian is here. These guys were ringing all of my bosses. They wanted me removed because that hit them at the spinal cord. So I want to tell you, it is going to be a very tough time, but the solution is not RDC. Talk to your MPs. It is a policy matter. You can't be the manufacturer, you are the distributor, you are the wholesaler, you are the retailer. So you have already taken away jobs which our people were supposed to do. So we must then task our lawmakers, according to Uganda's constitution, making a law is a prerogative of Parliament of Uganda. So we must task our lawmakers to restrict foreigners from certain businesses they should not do. For example, retail business, wholesale business, this will be left to the locals. That requires a law, and the only body that can make that law is the Parliament. So for that matter, challenge the MOP, raise it to the MOPs during their campaign. That is it. Then on the issue of policies that are not well implemented, my brother, Uganda has wonderful policies, wonderful regulations. Rwanda copies and paste and copies policies from Uganda here. Perfect implementation. I agree with you. Policy implementation is a challenge here. It is the reason I went to do bachelor's in public administration and management. And the course unit for which I went there is called policy formulation and management. That is my interest. I agree with you. Our fight against corruption is still lackluster. Somebody who has been caught doing a wrong thing should not actually be allowed to do that thing. But we are still a long way to go. The president has promised that in this next term, he wants to deal conclusively with corruption. He has appointed us assistant RDCs to go and fight corruption. But still, the anti-corruption institutions, the CID, the Director of Public Prosecution, the IGG, the State House Anti-Corruption Unit, this need to be strengthened further, including laws like a Whistleblowers Act, Access to Information Act, so that we are able to deal decisively with that problem. But I want you not to lose hope. We can still rise to the occasion and within this framework and do something better. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Commissioner. I'm still seeing one hand up from our brother Emmanuel. I think you still have a burning question. Only 1 minute, please, sir. So that we give chance to other people. We are having more than 10 people here. We are still expecting more questions, please.
Thank you so much, Madam Program Manager, for giving me this opportunity again. I'm satisfied in some answers, but I'm not satisfied in some answers concerning school fees. I think that one, many people here, if you go to comment section, they have given their experience, the experience they have faced in some government schools. So my question is not all about education. My question is about PDM money. Yeah, it's good initiative from government. And when I was watching NTV and also NBS, there is a time a reporter said that this money government has given to our people has to be returned back in some years to come. So my question is now like this. Now, specifically in West Nile, the climate change in West Nile is so terrible. And some of this money, our people acquired from government, they have put it in agriculture, where they are instructed or they get some laborers to dig for them and paid them, and they plan. They're expecting that they are going to get some good quantities, maybe some good amount of money from what they have invested in. So the drought has spoiled everything. They don't have any money to return to government, and they are the people of this ruling government. Government is the one who provided them with that money. So how is government going to handle that? Because they put the money rightly, but unexpectedly they lost the money in agriculture. I wanted Mr. Matua, the assistant RSCC of Aro City, to answer me about this.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Emmanuel. One, PDM money is not to be paid back to government. No. That money, remember, it is in what we call parish circle. Parish circle. A household is given 1 million. This household will use the 1 million for 1 year. In the second year, we'll begin to pay it small. We'll pay it back to this circle so that another household in the same parish will use it. That money is called Parish Revolving Fund. PRF. Parish Revolving Fund. So you are not paying it back to government. You are paying it back to your circle for another household in that area to use it. On the issue of climate change, I advise that when a household gets 1 million, don't commit this 1 million in one venture. No. Why can't this household buy 4 goats at 100,000 each, and then is left with 600K? Then use 600K for some maybe an acre of onion, which will bring this. Yeah, so that at the end of it all, you don't commit all the money in one area. On the issue of climate change, my brother Emmanuel Amatio, in all the districts apart from city, which I wrote to Minister of Agriculture complaining about, because Arua, the larger part of Arua, the Rikil, are still a rural part. All the districts have what we call micro irrigation facility. Government has micro irrigation facilities there. You just contribute 25% of the value of it. They give it for you for owning. Very many people have owned it. That is to counter the issue of the climate change factor. I agree with you, it is there. But the government has come up with the solution. There is a micro irrigation facility in districts for the people. But I have realized that the production office in the district, which is supposed to be in charge of disseminating information to people about these things, these officers are sleeping at jobs. They are not doing the right thing. So PDM money will not be paid back to government. No, it will be paid back to the parish circle as a revolving fund of the parish. So the target of the government is that by the end of this coming term, each parish will have minimally 1.5 trillion shilling in their circle. This is almost a rural bank. We must be proud of it. What we can do as the elite is to educate our people, tell them to use the money very well. Because in my village, Maracha there, Lamila there, I went there. I found people who got the money. But do you know what they did with the money? Some bought mattresses, some married extra wives, some would drunk them off. That kind of poverty of the mind to that extent. Meaning that giving money to somebody with an prepared mind is very dangerous. I saw it with an uncle of mine who told me he was going to sell a goat. I gave him 2 million. Every morning, the guy was reporting to the drinking joints at 7 a.m. In 3 months, the money was done, and he began complaining to the community that I am not helping him when he had just blown off 2 million. So the biggest trouble we have here is the poverty of the mind. PDF money will remain in the circle, and it will keep revolving. And I can tell you, our people should use it well as a catalyst to move forward. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm sorry, Madam Program Manager. I have a last question here.
Emma.
Still about just give me this one. Still about PDM money. Yeah, your answer, I'm satisfied with it, and still you have not answered me properly. I was saying those ones who have actually who invested their money in agriculture, but lastly because of climate change, the money is completely spoiled. They are not going to get anything from what they have spent, and you say that they're supposed to take that money to Paris revival. What I don't know. So if they fail to do that, if they're not going to take it there, what is the next step from the government? Are they going to be penalized or what? Then secondly, in Maracha district, this is my last question. In Maracha district, I heard that in some of the parishes, in some of the villages, the man you told us right now that people are getting how much? 1 million. In some places, people are getting 300, 500. Is government keen following those people who are getting 500 or 600? So if they are to follow them, how comes that what if they want those people who have received just 300 to pay that money, are those people going to pay 300 to that Paris Revival Fund? Thank you. Because the other money.
Thank you very much. I have gotten your question. Let me answer you. One, you have raised something very, very important, which is still new. That some people invested all their money, and what they invested on, because of climate change, they did not get anything. I advise you to inform the MOPs. This matter should be raised back to Parliament. It requires policy review. That can only be initiated at the parliamentary. That can only be done at parliamentary level because that requires a law. So inform your MOPs to that effect. Then two, that some people got 300, some got 500. Yes, at the starting point of this money, some people went there and said, for me, I don't want 1 million, I want small money. And they were given small money. A directive was given to have those who got 300, 500 for their money to be topped up. If they are not yet topped up in a state district, report to the RDC's office, report to the COW's office. That is a local problem. Don't nationalize it. It is now a local problem. I thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I think Emmanuel is done now. I see also Ronald is back. We are remaining with 18 minutes. We are stopping at 11 sharp. We are supposed to stop at 10:30, but we have added another 30 minutes. So 11 sharp, we are stopping. Ronald, you can speak up. I think he raised the hand just accidentally. He again, like, Ronald, you're
I raised it
speaking or not?
accidentally. Please, I raised it
All
accidentally.
right.
You move it.
It's okay. I've seen, but your hand is up. Can you speak up?
I'm like, I raised the hand accidentally.
It's okay.
Okay,
I've got you right,
thank you so
Ronald.
much, program coordinator, for welcoming my hand. My question to Big Man is that now he had said that economic transformation starting by the youths actually shifting their mind from poverty mindset. Now, what let me say like what are the initiatives that our political leaders are trying to put in place in order to help these youths to shift their mindset from poverty mindset to economic transformation, actual mindset that can make them be able to start understanding that they actually need to start thinking about how to invest money and how to also let me say like engage in ventures that can generate then income. Thank you.
My brother Geoffrey, thank you very much for that question. However, I am requesting that let us not bank our hopes on the political leaders. Why? Our politics is not a politics of transformation, not politics of development, especially in Western Nile. I gave you an example where candidates were insulting each other publicly instead of discussing ideas on what they are supposed to do to their people. The question should be, what are we, the elites, leaders, be it religious, political, cultural, including teachers, doing to cause mindset changes in our youths from that poverty mindset to a proactive, commercially viable mindset, a mindset of action of income generating activity? I want to rephrase the question like that. For me, actually, my hopes are in religious leaders, my hopes are in teachers. Religious leaders receive Christians every Saturday or every Sunday, 2 hours unadulterated time with them. Why can't they tell their Christians to take children to school, to do things to earn income? I am only seeing this in my local churches. Our mainstream Anglican and Catholic churches have not adopted that. Even the Adventist church, which is on Saturday, the Muslim leader, the Imam, is having Muslims every Friday. Why can the Imam spare 2 minutes to tell the people, do something to see money, do take children to school? I agree with you. There is a huge, acute shortage of transformative leadership in our region. So I am calling upon all of us, the elites, the religious leaders, the cultural leaders, the political leaders, the teachers, to incorporate the issue of mindset change in all our messages. For me, I talk it everywhere I go. At the burials, I talked it there in Uluko when I went for burial. A burial where 2 Ivu clans wanted to kill themselves there. Members of 2 Ivu clans wanted to kill themselves. It was me who cooled the situation. So I talk it at the burial, in schools. Even tomorrow I will be at Ottav. I will bring it to the level of the student that they can absorb. I talk it in churches. I talk it everywhere. So how I am calling you to become disciples of this priest of socioeconomic transformation, of the gospel of socioeconomic transformation. Become my disciples. Because if we don't do so, I want that we will become refugees or slaves in our own place in less than 40 years to come. Thank you.
All right. Any other hand? Any other hand, please? Members, we are still having some minutes.
I am requesting that we could end because I want to watch the front line.
It's okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you so much, Commissioner. We appreciate your time. It has really been a wonderful talk. So I myself, I really enjoyed it, though being coordinating it, but I was really enjoying how it was flowing. We appreciate you so much as Team Awanik TV. We thank you so much for your time. We appreciate everything. Our for me Saro, Mama, you think I've Tiakuri, Manigarsi, Ameselia dia. Mazi dilu dar tiri pe kun yo amadi dia wora to ber wara ki hawad fo mi disaru and mino ba meseliati mini mozo ha membazo si ma itas ma dia ti zo dia yo di ripirari rio azin ina lukan tiri itozo imaza kozura I personally me filita aka hakuwa leti yani eyo skulu dini sima rotira disiya dan mita manobi ti sini ofisia aliskuni yor mazile kita di mama fuji milia ini tozo imaza kozura amebi ya manilo iyo di mazi yiri aliskuni amebi vin kan kuli follow amebi ni eyo pirte toban yer ini for us we believe ba madliye ni zidi bori it was the right thing to do. But today, I have learned that some of these things are not the way we are accepting to do it with the people above us. But all in all, akasi ni beyera si he yodi kingadre maza kora wad for midri masa mini mufi amadisi amanga kiri ni leba za bendivo ama ini dika digozo wani TV era adiskuni eyota bula mani leri ha yufs ruliki eyot dilerki ama karkara ni ba eyo ipari du ama blessiti di mali angoni kan ko yo azini kiti beto tazan ko giri kongosi yari ama karkara ni keke ko tambrimba mani sumi bo kan ko yo amani eri ngazwi matiedisi somewhere ikiri ama to ko yo azir mali arki andi eyo bina mani bi yo nizu dunya kurki fevine yiko bo amadu ni zaro ha wat fo mi saru minta mi sande du ha imozo eyo nzezo ama piersi mima pariti ya wani TV asa watimini lezo yezo ama pierma alia. Even if not waiting for our invitation to come and talk to us, you can still raise up your voice. Ile tadi fu opie eyo din malia kan ko bi be yo yozo kaigiri kwa wani TVRC adleba dar ngobu feza rumidira hawan fo mi saru mungu matemibe eyo timin yer malia mafemidro ndwana diskuno ondo wako koreani eyo diler mitonte muti pia mabialenya sa dir malia ko. So aduni disa waangiri ko members amamo utitadi rumatupi dusodu toini amata adi adi tokso betingazo roko ages ministry but amesuno kwa zingazo ivuko. I don't think if it will be there as directors around he is going to lament more about that. Udwaza say we shall have live podcast. We are going to host 2 of our talented gospel artists, one way as in a West Nile PDA amamefiki vile kalasi angirisi emuzo yu eruzi matia hawad for saru mama dujisa diri fe director di denga podi mama commissioner fuku renivile letter tito kari ezma lera si director ama imira karibu si tozi yomi tier bazo aluiri dar mavuti ya madinga mungu zitozo titande matio pizundo dini.
Okay, Aziz Diman Bangrani, hallelujah, Marikuyo, our 4 programs. You can continue from there. Thank you.
Our first director, still not Itami Dika commissioner, I don't know. Zita azmini so this year mani alwileni tiari kofuti media man yora dar mavuti madimu guzingo dini.
First of all, I want to thank you very much for giving me opportunity to speak to my people. I told you I have come here as Johnny the Baptist to tell you, my people, change your hearts, change your minds. Let us wake up. If we don't, we are facing existential threat. I went to Uruko yesterday, but one I have seen good houses are for Sudanese. Go to Pajuru, good houses for Sudanese. Come to Arua City, the people who are driving brand new vehicles are not Western Island, are not Ugandans. Save for some few government officials who are given a vehicle by government. Look at the buildings which are coming up. I warn, if you, the younger people, the youths, don't adjust now, what I am telling you today, you will remember me. You will be slaves, refugees on your own land. Therefore, everybody must take this issue personal. It is no longer a luxury. It is a threat, an existential threat. I've already told you that the Eka Mubandra, the original inhabitants of Pajulu, they have sold all their land, but in Viki Kongo, do we want all of them to go? I thank you very much.
Awanfosaru amesije alala risisa weza kokoru amadi Mungu terma tupi Mungu zizasi amwambia awanfo Mungu di mi Yehova Mungu alwedata na piri opi amenzimi rutu amwambia mitra wanye yo nyirumin yeje amadi mali ata manu titadi edori yatazu persa lo pirsi Mungu irodu andro latra rumini otuli amadi muzu difuza ma RCC piri amaziri ibi riere onli malia si hernia yonzeria paria zendi malia Tata andu lebado rifia amadi hamania yonzezu pia wani ktivia yo amaledi unizo engazo vunya Mungu awadifote mirondo amini fedi nersi opia awadifo yodi amini elersi Yehova Mungu akuerimi madria minga kiro vredu tsezander mali opi ikibetori azimi matia kinondwa latra rengazo bwer Mungu isueri momi mali etozo mama ditezuri opi bado ledi itabele na manindi ya mavya angu mali ditezuri bet opi yonzo ipi urikoko baba adria yo mali adapi rabine yo adari yo pia veri Yehova Mungu awadifo midi eyo alaludrie niye chizuru mali yokini iskulwa Mungu fedi nyondwa niye zingra amadi Biblia mali fiondwa Solomani dri amedzivina ando terkumi madri mali oniter ni oniladi mali Yehova Mungu eso perpi paria lwalwernia chizuru mali Kristo ter magai amejia wani ktivi ni kumi madri mali duchezale ni adibet jopi kibetori bale ni adibendi aziti chita selatase ya imesela Kristo Yesu eyo ya imito ya ongulu mudir mali armeovu eyo Mungu dizafe pirumina alatra rodrari te chozo imangulu pia pizuri ni kopi kibetori eyo asipi vulele sabatu dirumali titaro manu yedi akuwa imi madria azimi matia yake ni haire ngavino vonyiru proto duwa ndrodrile dizapienzi tabe mambiru mina latra robo azimi ripiru Yesu Kristo obama papiri marusi amina
Amen.
Ambo.
Awadifo azeja wavulu tita andri mo amajinga meri dika druse rekodu yeah madikini
Yo, fancy Mingonia.
Muje mo badaro
Fancy ina maro mi drifa bera mvasi reka praka ba.
What rumbia bombe lugha miri di saba di sini ama ni madu yo bombe
We. Okay.
Komando asi.
Chabadi. Aye. Ni yazuru. Atiri ewaruwe ya. Mama tusuru la bamoja tedivule. Pere bani chari abuwa. Atiri yazuru. Atiri ewaruwe ya. Mama tusuru la bamoja tedivule. Pere bani chari abuwa. Atiri yazuru. Ewaruwe ya. Mama tusuru la bamoja tedivule. Pere bani chari abuwa. Angozini ishani. Bagazini guru. Asini fema toto. Olivie pepe. Bama sudi bwaku. Achi ateluwere. Pere bani chari abuwa. Atiri yazuru.